rahmatullahi alayh, is the author of a very inspirational book called Nuzhatul Basatin. In that book, he narrates the dream of a scholar from Yemen. The scholar, he said, I had a dream and I was passing by a Muslim cemetery where all Muslims were buried. And this was at night time. He said, as I was walking by that cemetery, I saw that all the people who were buried there, they came out of their graves. And they were going to a common place in the cemetery. And it seemed like they were collecting something from there. There was a basket, and each one was collecting something from that basket. So he wondered what was in that basket and what these deceased people were collecting from there. And each one would grab something and then they would go back into their grave where they were laid to rest. In the midst of all of that, there was one person that he observed was on the side who was just calm, wasn't worried, and he was not even going to that basket, so he wasn't taking anything from there. So that surprised him more. So he went to that person. The scholar said, I went to that person and I asked him, what is this being distributed or being collected by your fellow deceased people in this cemetery? He said, it's the sadaqah and recitation of Quran that Muslims have sent to their loved ones. So every week this basket comes into the cemetery. So everyone goes there and whatever is sent for them, they collect it from there and they go back into their graves. So every week this happens. So he said, what about you? Why aren't you going over there? He said, I don't need anything from there because I have a son who recites Quran, and every time he recites Quran, he sends the gift of that reward to me and I receive it. So I don't need to go there and collect anything from there. So he said, who is your son? The scholar asked, who is your son? Is he alive? He said, yeah, my son is alive. He's a young man and he has his business. He has his store in the main market of the city, and this is his name and this is what he does. So the next day, so the scholar, he said the dream ended after that. When everyone went into their graves, the dream ended. In the morning when he woke up, he said, I immediately went to that market in that city and I started looking for that young man who was supposed to be the son of this deceased person. So he said, I went to that specific store which that man had pointed towards. So I saw a young man over there who was selling oil for burning lamps, oil for cooking and all of that. So he was a zayyat, an oil seller. So he said, when I went to his store, there were a lot of people, a lot of customers who were waiting in line to buy oil from him. So he said, I was watching from a distance and I observed that man, that his lips were moving. The whole time he was selling oil, the whole time he was doing his job, his lips were moving as if he was reading something. So when he said, I stood in line as well as a respect, so I don't disturb his business. So when my turn came to get oil from him, I told him that I'm not really here to buy anything from you, but I want to ask you something. I've been seeing you that your lips have been moving while you have been doing business. So what's going on? He said, when I do my business, I keep reciting Quran. Whatever chance I get, I have memorized Quran, so I keep reciting Quran. And so then he asked, so what do you do with that Quran that you recite? He said, well, at the end of the day, whatever I have recited, I send it as reward for my father. Because my father passed away a short time ago, and I just send the reward of that tilawah, the recitation, to my father. So he said, oh, I see. So then he told him that he saw his father in the dream, and his father was really grateful, was really happy to receive this reward and this gift from his son every time he sent it to him. So then a few weeks went by. The scholar had the same dream the second time. So he said, I was passing by the cemetery, again the same cemetery, and same thing happened. I saw people coming out of their graves, and then they went to that basket. In the middle of the cemetery there was a basket, and they all started collecting some stuff from that basket. So he started looking for that man in that same corner, because he was wondering where that man is that he saw the last time, and he couldn't see him in that corner. So he went closer to that basket, and he saw that man collecting something from there as well. So he went up to him and he said, why are you collecting stuff from here? I thought you were receiving the tilawa, recitation of Quran reward from your son. He became very sad and he said, my son passed away. So the next day he went back to the market, he went to the store, he found out that the son passed away 3 days before. What an amazing story it is. 2 lessons that we learned from this. One, the importance of remembering your loved ones in your prayers, in your sadaqah, in your charity, in your recitation of Quran. Whenever you do something good, remember your loved ones as well, especially if they are your parents, your mother if she passed away, your father if he passed away, your parents if they passed away, your grandparents if they passed away, any people who have done good to you. It could be your relatives, your uncles, your aunts, your sister, your brother, your own son. So remember your loved ones in your rewards as well. So every now and then make isal thawab, send them a gift of reward after reciting Quran, or after giving sadaqah, making a donation on their behalf, or making a tawaf on their behalf, or making an umrah on their behalf. Something charitable, doing it on their behalf. And the easiest perhaps of all of these is sadaqah and Quran. Giving something in charity and giving the reward of that to your loved ones, to a deceased person. Number 2, making sadaqah, giving sadaqah or reciting Quran, and then giving the reward of that as a gift to your loved ones as well. Number 2, even if you are doing it in general, which alhamdulillah most of us do, generally we say, Allahumma aghfir lil muslimeen wal muslimat. Oh Allah, forgive all Muslims, brothers and sisters, men and women. So most of the time we do include most people in our prayers, which helps those who don't have anything for them, who left from this world but didn't have anybody crying for them, anybody doing something good for them, or did leave from this world but their sons and daughters forgot about them. And I'll tell you about another story of a mother who forgot her son who passed away. What happened to that son and what happened to that mother. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.
I thought you couldn't say the story.
Not tonight. Gotta wait.